Hey there. This is part of the Muslim quarter in the old city of Jerusalem, but I'm going to walk outside through Herod's Gate. There is the old city wall. The old city is really huge, and a really huge wall. And so in this video, then I thought that I would try to clear up the question about the Israeli passport stamp. When you enter Israel, then do you get a stamp in your passport? Do you not get a stamp in your passport? This is a more important issue than you might realize if you're not sort of familiar with the situation. So the situation is that unless you've not seen any news in the past like 50 years or so, then you will probably understand that there is a political problem here in Israel. And so without getting too lost in the whole political problem, then basically Israel is a Jewish state surrounded by Arabic Muslim countries, and because of the Palestinian crisis and various other things, and Jerusalem itself, dispute over who should occupy the city of Jerusalem, etc., then Israel's neighbors do not like Israel. And it is to the point that if you have a Israeli stamp in your passport, you travel to Israel and you get your passport stamped when you enter and exit, and then you try to go to a nearby country, not including Jordan, because you can cross the border into Jordan. And if you even just have a stamp from Israel in your passport and you try to fly into those countries, it is possible that you might get denied entry. And so it is a question, when traveling to Israel, how do you deal with that? And so the problem has been solved by the Israeli customs agents not actually stamping your passport. This is my first time to Israel, and so I wasn't sure what the situation was going to be. Wow, getting some great views here. And so if anyone wants to explain where exactly I am and what I'm looking at, I'm going to take a wild guess that this is the West Bank, Eastern Jerusalem, out this way. The sun setting to the west over there. And so I had heard that you could get a stamp on a separate piece of paper when you come into Israel, and that way there is no record in your passport of having actually been into Israel. So when I was in Jordan, I came to Jordan first and crossed the border at Aqaba over to Eilat, Israel. All right, I'm going to walk up this way and sort of loop around to where I started from. And so when I was in Amman, the capital of Jordan, then I'd heard that the border crossing there that is near Amman was a place that you could get this stamp outside of your passport in a separate piece of paper. Pardon all the noise around here. The idea was to show a bit of Jerusalem in the process of recording this video. And so I'd heard that at that border crossing near Amman, then you could get the stamp outside of your passport on a separate piece of paper. I then discovered that there was another border crossing down by Aqaba, Jordan, on the Red Sea across from Eilat. And so I asked some of the guys at the hotel that I was staying at in Amman about that border crossing, and they said that border crossing is different. You can't actually get the stamp outside of the passport there. That is a separate thing that can only be done at that one border crossing near Amman. But that border crossing was much more convenient for my plans, because I planned to go to Petra and then Wadi Rum, and that was south, and then Aqaba was nearby. And so it just made a lot of sense to go ahead and cross from there over to Eilat. Now, the only reason that I decided to go ahead and do that was because my passport is almost full. I have only 2 blank pages left in my passport, and so I'm going to have to get my passport renewed for my next trip anyways. And so I just decided, screw it, I'm just gonna go for it and cross there anyways. It was gonna be a lot more convenient than going back up to Amman and then going around the West Bank to Tel Aviv to get to Jerusalem. So I just decided, okay, I'll get the stamp, and then I will have to renew my passport anyways. So I went ahead and did that. Went down to Petra and Wadi Rum and Aqaba and took a taxi over to the border there, just a few miles from Eilat in Israel, and crossed the border. And it turned out they didn't stamp my passport there. They provided a separate piece of paper, which is essentially your visa, just a little like square piece of paper that they give you separately, and it has your entry date, your name, a picture from your passport, and tells you how long you can stay. And they did that automatically. I asked her about it beforehand, if it was possible to get the stamp outside of the passport, and she said, oh, we don't stamp the passports. This is just what we always do now. And so that is the answer to the question of dealing with the Israeli stamp in the passport. Is they aren't going to stamp your passport. That's not what they did, at least where I came into Israel, and also what I heard about the border crossing at Amman. So I guess it is just the normal policy now. They do not stamp your passport. They will give you a separate piece of paper, and so there will be no record in your passport that you entered Israel. I could have just explained that at the beginning more quickly, but thought I would tell the story and give a little taste of Jerusalem here in the process. Pretty interesting scene here on Saturday, the Jewish Sabbath, but here in the Muslim part of the city. All right, thanks for watching. See ya.